everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Ebony and my hope for this channel is that it will help you to reconnect with your intuition. Welcome to part 2 of Tarot Spreads for Clarity, showing you how to use a variety of different oracle cards alongside tarot, charm casting and rune stones. I do recommend watching part 1 first. I'll link it above and below in the description. In part 1, I share 2 spreads that will help you to find clarity and take action on your goals. Today, in part 2, I want to demonstrate how to mix things up using more than just one deck of cards. I love using rune stones, charms, and multiple decks in my readings as it adds so much depth and it's honestly really fun. As I said in part 1, it's not necessary to do this, but if you're curious how that might work, this video is for you. The example I'll share today uses the Take Action 3-card layout, 2 different oracle decks, tarot, charms, and last but not least, a runestone. I'll show you how all these different forms of divination work together in a spread to form a cohesive and detailed reading. For more information and resources, please head over to today's blog post linked below. You'll also find so much more detail there about the Take Action spread I'll use today, as well as the Clarity spread from part 1. I hope that this video is helpful, and if you do enjoy it, please consider subscribing and comment down below. What is your favourite tarot or oracle deck to use, at least right now? Now let's flash back in time by the power of video editing to continue on from last week's video. So here are some oracle cards that I will use today. I love this new deck, so perhaps I'll stick with that one and this one because I think they go very well together actually. Cosmic Guidance and the Starseed Oracle, as well as the tarot cards that we've got here already. So let's have a looky. So I'm thinking what we'll do just to demonstrate how to use a mixture of, tarot and oracle and so on, is that we'll just do the 3-card Take Action layout. So I'll start with a Dreamy Moons card, I reckon, first. They're so gorgeous. So the first card from Dreamy Moons, that'll be the first position, and then we'll have the second card from the Starseed Oracle. Sorry, I'm shuffling out of frame there. And Starseed Oracle. Just trying to figure out where to put things. And then we'll get a tarot card. Woo! Hello. Apparently that one will do the job. Okay. Okie dokie. So, card 1, the challenge. Head, logic and evaluation. Interesting. Card 2, focus. Card 3, action. Ooh. Yeah, it's always interesting when you get the devil card. Don't worry, it's not as alarming as it looks. So challenge. Challenges to overcome. Overcoming the challenge of your mind. I'd only just got this deck, so I'm going to look it up in the guidebook. Especially with oracle cards, I feel like I have to look at the guidebook when I'm learning them. You can intuitively read them to a degree too. I definitely could just go with it, but think logically and you have a chance to solve a problem. Stuart Stafford. Meaning, the universe is telling you to listen to your head rather than your heart. The head is rational and looks at problems in a logical way. It evaluates the pros and cons of various situations, assesses the strengths and the weaknesses, measures the possible risks. Our brain analyzes and organizes data which comes from our past memories and experiences to make logical assumptions about the future and facilitate our decision making. If the card came up as an answer to a specific question, approach your current situation logically, weigh up the positives and the negatives. If the card came up in a general reading, the message is that it's time to focus on your mind and thoughts rather than emotions. Exercise. Logically weigh up the pros and cons about what you are uncertain about. Affirmation. I am in touch with my logical mind in order to make the best choice. So, as it's coming in the position of what challenges do I need to overcome, I would take this to mean that the challenges are really about logic and evaluation. So going off the guidebook as well, I would say that the challenge is that I need to think logically. I need to perhaps take a step back and think with a bit of logic, or perhaps, listen to your head rather than your heart. But because it's in the challenger's position, what feels right, I guess, at the end of the day for me would be like more to do with balance, because I am trying to learn to, speak to my intuition, but I also do need to, like the pentacles in the previous spreads have shown, I need to think a bit logically, perhaps, in the terms of figuring out my next steps and in terms of finance. So I think it's sort of a reminder that the challenge continues to be figuring out from a very logical standpoint and evaluate where I'm at and what I need to do. Think a little bit logically and listen to my head a little bit in terms of planning, I suppose, and so that I can plan for a future where I am financially independent, like the Queen of Pentacles in the previous position for this layout. So yeah, very much Queen of Pentacles sort of energy there. So yeah, very much I get the feeling that the Queen of Pentacles energy is still in this position with essentially with a completely different kind of card. It's from a completely different, it's definitely not tarot, it's from an oracle card deck, but the energy is very similar, which is interesting. So yeah, let's move on to focus. What do I need to focus on right now? I'll once again just look at the guidebook. Water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. So even without looking at the guidebook, that tells us a lot. It's saying I need to focus on looking after myself and resting, going to bed earlier, definitely something I need to do. I've been pretty shocking with that. So looking after myself a lot more, self-care for sure is something I always need to hear, because I'm working at home and studying from home. I'm just kind of go all the time. So I don't really allow myself to rest that much. I'm constantly like multitasking, and if I'm watching something, it's generally something I'm learning from as well. So, I do need to check out occasionally and just rest, I think. So I think that does make sense without even looking it up, but we'll look it up as well, especially if you're looking at this card deck yourself and you want to see what it says in the guidebook. Okay, here we go. Water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. Earth is a seasonal planet, and as such, you're a seasonal being, cyclic. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month, day after day after day. You're strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest and refuel, to take a moment to restock and replenish and slow right on down. Your body is the only body you're given, and it needs to be respected as such. You're being called to take responsibility for your well-being, to put your health and body first. I know it can feel like time is running out and as if there are urgent things that simply can't wait. However, if you keep pushing on, soon fatigue will set in. This way of living isn't sustainable. If anyone continues to race through life, eventually they will reach exhaustion, and it will take longer to recover than it would have done to rest. Immune system disorders and mystery illnesses are becoming more common because we're putting too much pressure on our bodies to keep up with the instantaneous pace of modern life. How are you being called to put on the brakes, to rest, restore and rejuvenate? When was the last time you took a holiday or had a full weekend day or afternoon off? Look after your precious body and mind. Give yourself time to recover when you find yourself running on your reserves. There is enough time. Life will bend towards you when you do. Starseed Soul Inquiry. What is your body yearning for? Ooh, yep, that one really hits home, because I've been filming for a while now and it's like well and truly lunchtime and I'm so hungry and I need to probably stop working and eat something. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What I need to focus on now is looking after myself, taking some time away from the computer, maybe going for a walk. I think would, it's asking me to, what do I feel like I need to do for my body to be, nourished right now. That card is particularly about what to focus on. So I need to focus on implementing better self-care and implementing more time to rest. But this card, what do I need to learn? What action do I need to take? That's more the actionable thing, like the next thing I need to do. And the devil, generally speaking, means letting go of things that are holding you back. This card always alarms people. It always alarms me to a degree too. But the fact is that these figures have the power to unchain themselves. So even though they're being held, essentially they look like they're being held captive by the devil, but they're not. They actually have complete free will in order to get away, because their hands are not chained and the chain is just looped around their neck. They can simply slip it off and walk away. So the devil, as much as it looks alarming, generally is more about letting go of what is holding you back. So the next step I need to take, what will help me to move forward, is letting go of things that are holding me back. So what a beautiful note to end it on, as alarming as that card looks. The general gist of the devil card is to let go of fear. That's the main idea I have of the devil card. The main way I sort of remember it is it's letting go of fear. It looks fearful. This card looks scary, legitimately scary. You know, there's fire and a scary devil. You have the ability to let go of that fear. No matter how afraid you might be, no matter how much those fears might be holding you back, you can let go of them. You have the power to remove the chains and walk away, you know. And the chains and the fear, it could be anything from addiction, it could be any kind of dependency, any unhealthy attachment. You know, it can represent in so many different ways in how it affects you and what it is that is affecting you. But whatever it is that you are dealing with, whatever you're afraid of, whatever's holding you back, whatever limiting beliefs you have, you can let them go. You know, it's not saying it's always easy, but you can let them go and you can walk away. That power is with you. You know, I've been reading or listening to an audiobook, Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. And that phrase just keeps coming into my mind. Everything is figure-outable. You know, there are solutions to most, if not all, things that we come across in our life. Everything is figure-outable. That's what I'm telling the devil. And that's the next step I'm going to take, is to figure out, okay, I have limiting beliefs, sure. We've definitely clarified that today in these cards. Put it on the internet. But definitely I have the power to let go of those beliefs. And, you know, my focus right now, going by just this layout alone, my focus right now is to rest, to look after myself, to nourish my body and my mind, to think logically. You know, I have to overcome the challenges of planning, strategic, and evaluating my next steps in a logical way. And I have to let go of any limiting beliefs that are holding me back. So yeah, that's a combination of oracle cards from 2 different decks plus tarot, and you can see how it just all falls together. You know, you can really, the sky's the limit on what you can use. Don't feel like you have to use just one deck, but like I've shown you, it works just as well with just one deck too. You know, you still get so much out of it. So it's just go with what you feel like. This video is probably already so long, I will have to end it here in terms of cards, but just wait. We can take this a little further. So I love using charms. Love using charms. They are so much fun. They add just, you know, because I've based my charm set on the Lenormand system as well, they're almost very fortune telly. Fortune telly, that's the word. So I usually grab just a small handful and I just scatter across the cards. Woo! That one went way over there, so we won't count that one. I might get a couple more. And I find it really easy to be very intuitive with the symbols that you get. So this takes it up a notch, doesn't it? So we've got an anchor next to the head. Okay. We've got a turtle upside down there. We've got a fish upside down there, which is interesting because that is to do with money, and that's next to the head. Okay. We've got a snake and a mask, the kookaburra, the ladybug, and the tree. Okay. Let's have a closer look at this. So first up, we've got the anchor next to, or on top of, the Dreamy Moon's Oracle card of the head. So the anchor is generally a very stable force. So it makes sense next to the logical head and mind, you know. I can rely on my logic and I can rely on my evaluations. That's the idea I get with the anchor. You know, it's saying that this card is a reliable card. You know, the fact that this is my current challenge and the anchor's next to it. And the anchor can also be like a work indicator. So, you know, to do with work as well. And that's very much the case with my challenge and using my head to overcome that challenge of, you know, finance and security and that sort of thing. So yeah, I feel like the anchor really makes a lot of sense there. It's about security, that sort of thing, financial security, logic that I need and evaluation that I need in order to gain financial security. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. The turtle, the turtle is not in the Lenormand system. That's sort of an extra that I put in there. But I like to think of the turtle as meaning sort of patience and wisdom and living a long and healthy life and going with the flow. So I think the fact that the turtle's landed on this card here in the challenges position, I think it's really telling me, you know, be wise, listen to your head. I'm pretty good at listening to my heart. The challenge is I need to listen to my head a little bit more. I need to seek wisdom. And perhaps that means also asking for help or an advice, especially if it comes to the stability and the money. And the fact that we also have the fish next to it. And the fish is all about finance, business, wealth, abundance, and it's upside down. So it's basically like, okay, if you want to use your head and, you know, figure out your finances, you are going to need to do this in order to flip that fish and actually be financially abundant. That's the idea I'm getting there. You know, I'm not spending much time on this by any means, but that's the thing with charms. I feel like I can really flow into them. So yeah, the fish being finance and business as well. It's not even just about money. It's about like business too. And I'm trying to run my own business. That's my goal. My ultimate goal is to have my own business and be financially secure with my own business. That is my goal, you know, and the fact it's flipped over, it's like, yeah, you're not there yet, especially in terms of finance. You're not there yet, but you know, you've got your heart in the right place, but you need to use your head. You need to use logic and evaluate and, you know, take the advice of the turtle. That was flipped as well. So it's basically like, yeah, you need the turtle's energy. It's flipped. You don't have it right now, but you need the turtle and the fish to flip over and actually incorporate their energies, because right now you're not. Yep, that sounds about right. That sounds definitely right to me. And next on, we have, you know, the second position. We have a snake. And the snake is about sort of deception. So, you know, what is deceiving me, or am I deceiving myself? Because it's landed on this card here about, you know, the need to rest, the need to focus. This is the focus position. You know, I need to focus on not letting my thoughts, and, you know, we've got the mask as well, which is an extra. And the mask I threw in to indicate sort of hiding or discovering the truth. So maybe it's about figuring out the truth, breaking through the deception of the snake. So the snake, I believe, in this position, because I'm looking at it from my own perspective. And I actually, in this week's reading for the newsletter, there was a snake involved there too for this week. So the fact it's here is interesting as well. And also the kookaburra, which means the birds, that signifies the birds in Lenormand. Both of the snake and the birds were in this week's reading as well. And this is in the focus for right now section of this reading. So interesting that it's like I just did my weekly reading for the newsletter, and the focus was on the snake and the kookaburra as well. So that's interesting that it's coming up as a focus in this layout as well. So the snake is really, about deception. When I was doing this week's reading, I really felt like the snake was indicating negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. And we've definitely seen a lot of that limiting belief stuff coming up today as well. So yeah, I think the snake is very, be aware of your thoughts. Be aware that your thoughts can deceive you. Be aware of what is hidden and what has to come to light. And be aware of the birds. And the birds, I believe, this week are very much in my head, chirping away. The birds indicate gossip or what other people think of you. They can also be an indication of worry, of nervousness and anxiety. So it's, it's all the way up here, which makes me think, don't let your mind, as much as you need to use your head, this isn't indicating connecting with your monkey mind and listening to your monkey mind. No, this is the opposite. It's using your head for strategic, logical evaluation. That's what this card's about. That's what these charms are about. But this is basically being like, if you really want to use your head and ultimately follow your heart, you need to let go of those limiting beliefs. Don't be worried about what people think. Don't let your mind deceive you. See what is there. Actually break beyond these things and take the time to rest. And I think also a big part of this week's reading was about meditation. That really felt like a strong message for me. The idea of meditating this week. It feels like I need that right now. I need that, that rest. I need to connect with my intuition. And so perhaps if, we're talking in terms of this card as well, and in what I'm focusing on, I think it's like, getting past the monkey mind, which is deceptive at times and tells you things that you can and can't do, and tries to limit you, and also tries to worry you and force you to feel anxiety. So it's like, let go of the worries, don't let your mind take over in that sense, but rest and meditate. I'm getting that. I feel like meditating is coming up here too, in terms of what I need to focus on, perhaps this week or perhaps just today. And then we've got a ladybug. So I think of the ladybug as like the fool in tarot. It's daring exploration and it's connecting with nature. And the fool has that element of nature to me. So that's sort of how I think of the ladybug. I know it's tiny, isn't it cute? So I think the fact that it's sort of fallen between what I need to focus on, the focus position, and the action. So it's fallen right between focus and action. When I think of charms, I always think of how they've fallen in terms of like the imagery around them. So, the snake being at my back or at this figure's back, being that the ladybug is between the focus and the action cards, I'd say it's like, okay, rest, maybe meditate, be aware of your thoughts, and be aware that, you may have to let go of limiting beliefs and anxieties that you might have. You have to bring them to light. You have to unmask them and understand them better. But then also the energy of the ladybug is that of exploration. It's that of getting out there and exploring. So it's, after I've rested and I'm ready to take action, this is the bridge to action. So the ladybug is like, okay, but how can you take action? How can you, after you've rested and focused on that and you've got a bit more of a balance, how can you then take on the action of this card here, which is asking you to break free of those limiting beliefs? How can I, after I've rested and after I've figured out a bit more balance in life, how can I then move forward by letting go of limiting beliefs? And of course, we also have this charm here, which is the tree. And the tree is all about growth and being grounded and spirituality and health as well. So, if we're talking the steps that I need to take to move forward, it's all for my own health as well, my own health and well-being. And that can't be forgotten in the big scheme of things. So yeah, I can definitely talk for hours and hours about, what I sort of see here. You at some point do have to draw a line, but if you journal it out as well, I find that super helpful. I'll be thinking about this later on as I'm editing it perhaps, and I'll start thinking, oh, I missed that because there's just so much there that you can really delve into, especially when you start introducing extra card decks and even the charms. None of that's mandatory by any means, do you, but it's very interesting to see how the charms connect with the cards. I love it. I love reading the charms. They're really fun. And then of course we've also got rune stones. So let me just draw one rune stone just to tie it all off. And again, you can do a lot more, or you can do none at all. You can just stick to cards. Okay, rune stones, what can you add to this reading? And with the runestone, we have Ing. It's meant to be this way actually, just realized. So ing indicates success, positive changes and good fortune. So really, this is a very positive runestone. What a message to leave the reading on. And it's so beautiful. Labradorite just gets me every time. So ing is very much a, indicator of success. Looking at all of this together, including the runestone, I would say that should I follow the advice given here today in these cards and these charms, then I'll receive success. But I have to take the advice if I want that success. That's the thing with runestones, well, with any divination really. It's not predicting the exact future. It's really just giving you guidance and saying, if you do take this guidance, you're improving your chances of success. So it's really lovely that ing came up at the end there. What a lovely way to end it, especially, being that the devil looks quite alarming. It is about process as well and evolution too. So it's, it's very much not just like, oh, you get this stone, you get this runestone, you get immediate success. Unfortunately not. It's, it's all about the process as well and evolving and developing your skills, developing your ideas. But ultimately, if I follow the advice, it is a good sign. It is a good sign. So wonderful note to leave it on. I feel like I have been talking for ages. I think my coffee has definitely gone cold. But yeah, I hope that really helped. It's been very insightful for me, I feel like. Every time I do these things, I get really into it and I just love it so much. It teaches me a lot about myself and, it may sound a little bit woo-woo and silly, but it really does bring me so much closer to figuring out what I want to do and how I can go about doing it. It might seem like, you're digging for meaning, and perhaps in some ways you are, you're actively seeking guidance and you're actively seeking answers. And those answers are within you, really. The answers to these questions that we're asking in these layouts, they're all within you. They're all within your reach. They are all a part of you. But using these tools, these divination methods, it just allows you to get a bit closer to the meanings behind it. It allows you to answer those questions in a meaningful way, I think would be the best way to put it. But I'm just rambling now. I should probably go have some lunch. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please do let me know if you try any of these layouts. Feel free to tag me or message me at Ebony Highland on Instagram as well. And if you want to learn more and, really get greater insight and resources, recommendations, all that stuff, like I said, is on the blog post, which is linked down below as well. And over on my website too, you can also sign up for my weekly newsletter. I'd love to see you there. Each week I am sending out a weekly reading, tarot reading, featuring charms and runestones as well, which is so much fun. And I've been recording an audio reading so that you can just listen to it while you make your coffee or breakfast in the morning. And that goes out every single Monday morning, completely free. Costs you nothing to sign up, and I love doing it. So I'd love to see you over there. If you are interested in things like this, then I'm sure you'll love and enjoy the reading as well. So if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like down below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I post every Thursday at 2 p.m, so definitely click the little bell to be notified when I post as well. All right. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I can't wait to see you in next week's video. Bye!